Hello, you guys, and welcome back to Mystical Visions. So, for our final video of the year, I wanted to do something super long and super special and super exciting. So today we are diving into a big boy reading where we dive right into some predictions for 2026. Now, first of all, if I sound a little stuffy, I'm coming out the other side of like a horrible flu and my voice is not at its best, but this is the only time I can record this, so bear with me. I've gone ahead and pre-shuffled your cards, but this time instead of using crystals, I kind of wanted you guys to use your intuition more. So I've just gone ahead and picked out 3 random major arcana cards for each of the piles. So for pile 1, we have the Star. For pile 2, here we go, the Lovers, beautiful. And for pile 3, we have the High Priestess. Now, neither of these cards actually appear in your reading, so I kind of just put them in here as placeholders instead of crystals, because again, I wanted to do something just a little different. So before we dive in, because there's a lot of cards, I do want to explain to you what you can expect in this reading. So today we're going to start by taking a look at a quick summary of what 2025 might have been for you. And that portion of the reading is mostly to make sure that, you've got the energy right, that you've picked the right pile for you. And then we'll dive into some general predictions for 2026. We'll look specifically at what your love life looks like in 2026, what your career/education looks like, and also your spiritual and personal development, your growth as a person in 2026 looks like. Then we'll take a look at significant people or personality types and energies that will influence your year most. And then finally, we'll take a look at a goal that you are encouraged to have and pursue in 2026. It's a lot. There's a lot of cards. I'm really excited. As always, timestamps are in the video description. If you enjoy this video, if the reading resonates for you, please remember to like and subscribe. Comment below. Let me know what your plans are for 2026. And without much further ado, timestamps are in the description, and I'll see you at your reading. Pile number 1, hello. So welcome to your reading all about what's to come in 2026. I'm not going to spend a lot of time explaining the layout of the cards to you because I did it in the intro. So let's just dive right in. We're going to start with an energy check for what 2025 might have been like for you. And you can use that as confirmation to make sure you've picked the right pile. So to start, we have the 9 of Coins. Ooh, beautiful. Clarified by the Page of Wands. Okay. And your oracle card is Baby Steps. Action. Follow your intuition before it makes sense. Okay, so 2025 for you, pile 1, has been an interesting year where it feels like you've made a lot of money. You may have built a fair bit of abundance, and you may have done it independently with this 9 of Coins here. You've seen the reward of all the work you've put in. However, towards the end, it's almost like a new interest is blossoming for you. Something new, something you didn't see coming, like a new passion that's building up for you. But you're not quite ready to dive into it completely yet with this Baby Steps card. Maybe you're just gathering information right now on how you can make this happen. Maybe it's just a new hobby you want to pick up, or you've been planning to pick up, and you're not quite at the actualization stage yet. And maybe there's also a bit of conflict about, should I pursue this? Should I abandon what I'm already doing in order to pursue this new passion that seems to be developing inside of me? And maybe that's why you're here, to see if that's going to pan out at all. But we'll see what the cards say. But as far as the rest of your year, like the bulk of it, it's mostly been about you reaping some form of rewards. It may not be quite as much abundance, as much results as you were hoping for, because we're not quite at the 10 of Pentacles yet, but you've done way better than you anticipated doing at the start of the year. So as we come towards the end, towards the closing, you're like, yeah, I did all right, actually. However, there is a nagging feeling inside about there's something else I want to explore. And yeah, if that energy resonates, I'm just going to put this card over here. If that resonates, then you've definitely picked the right pile. Welcome. Let's dive into what 2026 is going to look like. I should mention, while I was shuffling, your cards felt a little bit hesitant from this point forward. So maybe this is something you're worried about. Maybe this is something you're nervous about next year. It's okay. Take a deep breath. We'll get into it. So let's start with just a general overview of what 2026 is going to look like. We have the Apprentice of Swords, which is the Page of Swords in reverse, clarified by Strength. Okay. Beautiful. And, oh, there's a little thread. And we have the Emperor in reverse, okay, clarified by the 10 of Wands, also in reverse. There's a lot of vehicles in the background. Okay, a general overview. I think a big theme in 2026 for you guys is going to be learning discernment, learning what deserves your energy and what doesn't. Instead of going headfirst into either a responsibility, a conflict, a project, simply due to the principle of it, which is like that sword's energy of a sense of justice, a sense of understanding, choosing an intellectual reasoning over a practical or emotional one. Instead of just diving head first, a big theme is going to be learning what needs your energy and what doesn't, right? So, because this is the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords is someone who is just setting off on their journey, right? Just starting out, same as the Page of Wands here, but this is an intellectual journey. So ideologically, with the page being in reverse, it's kind of talking about someone who doesn't necessarily understand what they've gotten themselves into. They're not necessarily willing to put in the time and effort to gain a little bit of maturity before they take action, right? So with the page in reverse clarified by the Strength, which is about having the power but not using it unless absolutely necessary, I think a big theme for you is definitely restraint in 2026, not in the sense of you being restrained, but more in the sense of you learning when to hold them and when to fold them. You know, there's a sense of maturity coming in. With the Emperor in reverse clarified by the 10 of Wands in reverse, you are also letting go of things that are not your responsibility, burdens that you've carried that you don't need to, right? Because the Emperor is someone who is on the throne. He works by himself. It's that Aries leadership trailblazer energy, but he is also, you know, quite hyper independent sometimes. So to have that in reverse clarified by the 10 of Wands in reverse, which this position for this card is about letting go of the burden, not being able to carry it anymore, but also not being okay with it. So I think a lot of it is you recognizing first of all, it's okay to ask for help. That could be a big part of your journey in the new year, is learning to ask for help, learning when you should delegate even, and that not all burdens are yours to carry. So there is really a lot of emotional growth, a lot of maturity happening. This could be the year where, like, you might be around the age where your frontal lobe is finally developing. So mid to late 20s-ish, where you're starting to learn the more subtle aspects of emotional maturity, right? Let me just read The Emperor in Reverse from this book. If you guys have watched the last couple of videos on my channel, you know that I'm in love with this book, the guidebook that came with this deck. The Emperor Reversed. The time to get off the high horse has come. The Emperor may be a ruler, but they are still just a human being. Ego trips often look like narcissism, but may actually be a result of insecurity. Ask yourself why being better or worse than others gives you a sense of self. Okay. So, see, this is why I love the book. There could also be a tendency for you to compare yourself or your worth to that of others. And this could be the year where you are finally learning to let go of that. And that could also be a burden that you carry. Like, maybe if you grew up being compared to other kids, siblings, cousins, whatever, or if you are just someone who feels the pressure to perform as well as or as much as someone else does, 2026 could be the year you finally let it go. You finally learn, like, there's really no point. People are going to say what they're going to say, but if you keep pushing yourself to be something you are not, just to be comparable to someone else, the only person you end up hurting is you. Right? And that might be a big lesson for you. And again, I think that goes back to this idea of knowing which battles are worth fighting and which ones you just don't have to waste your energy on. So that's a general overview for your reading for 2026. So now let's dive into the specifics, starting with your love life. Oh, we have the Oracle of Swords, lots of swords energy. This is the Queen of Swords, clarified by the Ten of Swords. Okay, beautiful. And your animal spirit card says a rebirth is assured. That is the exact energy I was getting. There's a lot of like ending cycles here. In your love life, Power One, with the Queen of Swords and the Ten of Swords, you are ending some very difficult cycles that may have kept you trapped in relationships that did not deserve you, that did not serve you any further. And the Queen of Swords is someone who is quite cutthroat. She does not mince words. She does not sweet talk. She doesn't like soften the blow ever, right? Whatever she has to say, she will say. And she will speak from the heart. It's never, being hurtful just for the sake of being hurtful. This is about honesty. And this year, you are really taking stock of your relationships, especially your relationships from the past with this Ten of Swords, where you're really looking at, actually, hang on, this bracelet is really bothering me. I'm sorry. Okay, let's just put that to the side. Okay, I feel better. Sorry. Yeah, you could be finding something really annoying and getting rid of it once and for all. No, but with the Queen of Swords and the Ten of Swords, you are finally putting to rest the kind of relationship dynamics that you realize are disrespectful towards you. And with a rebirth is assured, this is just, and the number 5 being the number of change, this is this is the year 2026 where you start fresh in your love life. If you're already in a relationship, this could be a transformation of that dynamic, in that either you guys have a conversation with your partner, or, change up the dynamic in some way, where maybe you find better ways to communicate, find better ways to coexist, and so on and so forth. Or if you feel like a relationship is you're just dragging it along for the sake of dragging it along, you might find that this is the year you find the courage and the nudge to maybe end things and move forward. But whatever the case may be, look, I'm not saying that if you're in a healthy, happy relationship, you're going to end up breaking up. Not at all. However, there will be a transformation with this rebirth, where you might find that who you are in love at the beginning of 2026 is going to be very different to who you are at the end of the year. And you're going to learn a lot of like lessons, but not just in terms of, evolution, but also you're just going to get smarter, I feel like, because both of these are swords cards. You're going to get smarter about relationships through this year. And it could be that, you're entering a whole new playing field with potential partners. If you're someone who's dating around, you'll find that you are no longer accepting people who do not match your energy. And as a result, in order to fill that vacuum, the universe brings you much better matches, right? In either case, you are not afraid to say no. You are not afraid to assert your boundaries this year. And that's how you bring that power back to yourself in love. Okay, so let's take a look at what your career looks like in the new year. To start, we have the Hierophant in reverse. Okay. This is interesting. Clarified by the Knight of Cups in reverse. And your Oracle card is the Lion Spirit in reverse. Be generous of spirit. Okay. What's interesting is this Hierophant in reverse, which, by the way, all three of these cards are animals. Like, you might end up working with animals in your career this year. But anyway, the Hierophant in reverse kind of gives me the energy of this Page of Wands right here. Of, at the beginning of this reading, we spoke about how you might be on the cusp of exploring a new passion. The Hierophant is about doing things by the book, is about keeping things exactly the way they've always been. So to have that in reverse tells me that you might be straying from the path the road. You might be going onto the road less traveled. Wow, I just had a massive brain fog. So whatever you are familiar with in terms of a career, in the new year, you might switch things up a little bit. And, I don't know, you might even explore this. But it's this Knight of Cups in reverse that's very interesting. It's like the Knight of Cups is someone who is quite forthcoming with their emotions. So, and with be generous of spirit in reverse. This is the year you're still cooking. Right? In 2026, whatever this is with the Page of Wands, you're still cooking, you're still gathering information. Yeah. Because the Knight of Cups is quite forthcoming with his emotions. I say he because this is a masculine knight in this deck. But the Knight of Cups is quite forthcoming with his emotions. And to have that in reverse is like, he's not. And even with this be generous of spirit, I kind of am interpreting it as be vocal with your spirit, with what your soul is saying to you. And it feels like, you may, okay. So you may, okay. Sorry. So there's just lots of messages coming in at once. So whatever you're doing right now might be in a similar vein to what you're thinking about that's, off the beaten path. However, you can use this to influence some of the work you already do. And that's how you can kind of pivot a little bit. You can go off script a little bit. You can bring in some interesting, fun, new dynamic change into your career without going all the way and just making like a massive right turn, right? So in your career in 2026, I really think you're playing it safe a little bit in that you're not going completely, break it down, build up from scratch. With the Hierophant in reverse, you are doing something different, but you're not quite, going all the way. But let me just read this Lion Spirit in reverse from the book. So this is number 37. Do you doubt that you can do much good? Are you stuck in a state of scarcity, thinking, who am I to lead? Or who am I to step into my dream? Who am I to have an amazing relationship? Who am I to think I can help? Lion Spirit is here to tell you that the antidote for low self-esteem is stepping to healthy pride. Of course you can do all that you desire. Take pride in your role, seeking to bring an abundance of love into this world. Stop comparing yourself to others and seeing yourself as less than, for within you is a wellspring of generosity. Okay, maybe the comparison thing that we spoke of earlier with the Emperor in reverse, maybe that's to do with work, right? Maybe that's to do with career and success and abundance and all of that. So maybe a big reason why you're not quite making the pivot the whole way is due to this fear, is due to the insecurity of, what if it's not successful? And that's, obviously you're going to have that fear because we don't know what's going to happen when we take a leap of faith. However, with this card, you're very much being called to remember that if you could make it this far, if you could get to this 9 of coins, this 9 of pentacles energy, all by yourself, with all the work that you've put in, why do you think you can't take it further? Why do you think you can't be successful in this Page of Wands energy? Like, surely when you first set off on this path where you are right now, when you first set off on this path, surely you felt the same exact fear, right? Surely at that time you were like, I don't know if I'm capable of this. I don't know if I can do it. So this is really a reminder of that feeling has nothing to do with the potential outcome. It is simply a fear of change, a fear of instability. And that is perfectly human and perfectly normal. It kept us safe and alive back when we lived in caves. But we don't live in caves anymore. And we often associate our anxieties to our intuition. And it's not that one will inevitably lead to the other. Like, anxiety doesn't determine the outcome of a situation. All it does is tell you about the worst possible case scenario. Now, what often happens is we believe in that and therefore manifest the worst possible outcome and then call that anxiety intuition, right? So I think this is very much a reminder to not give in to that fear. Yeah, be smart, be cautious enough that you don't set yourself up to fail, obviously, right? However, don't doubt your capability is the message here. All right? And now let's take a look at your spiritual and personal development in the new year. To start, we have the Two of Cups. Beautiful. Oh, that card has never come out for me in this deck. And the Two of Pentacles. Wow, lots of twos. And for your animal spirit card, we have the Bobcat Spirit in reverse. Life is a mystery. Okay, so straight away, I'm with this Two of Cups and the Two of Pentacles. Straight away, I'm getting the understanding of, in your personal growth, in your spiritual development, you're finding something that is so perfectly tailored to help you grow and evolve. What do I mean? Say, for instance, you struggle with anxiety, since we've been talking about anxiety, right? Say you struggle with anxiety a lot, and say you've done a lot of therapy, you've taken the medication, you've done, group therapy, you've spoken, you've done CBT, DBT, whatever. None of that has worked. In 2026, that is a loud horn. Confirmation. In 2026, you are finding the perfect balance of therapies, or just the perfect technique that will bring you a lot more results, a lot better results, right? And so that's assuming you need, treatment. If you don't, right? Say you're simply interested in growing and evolving. This year, in 2025, so far, you may have felt a little lost, you may have felt a little uninspired, a little bit like, I've done everything there is to do and I don't know how I can evolve any further. In 2026, you're finding exactly the resources that you need in order to grow even more. Right? So you might find that suddenly a method of divination is calling to you. Suddenly a type of meditation is calling to you. Some sort of, shamanic healing is calling to you. Whatever it is, it's simply, it's like, it's not even something you chase. It is finding you, right? It's like, it's destiny. When you look at your personal development, your self-love journey so far, because with the Two of Cups, that is about love. Your self-love journey so far, you'll recognize patterns that brought you to where you are right now. And then when this technique or this this perfect match for you in whatever sense that is, when it comes your way, you're like, oh, it makes sense. This is why I went through all of those experiences, because now I can use what I already know and use what this has to offer me in order to be an insanely evolved version of myself. There's a lot of growth happening, a lot of growth for you in 2026. Let's read the Bobcat Spirit as well, because that's in reverse as well. And I just like reading the messages from this guidebook as well, because they are oddly specific and always resonate. So Bobcat Spirit. Bobcat Spirit tells you this is not a time to reveal your deepest, most cherished dreams and desires to others, but rather a time to be quiet and gentle with yourself as truths begin to emerge in your awareness. Self-protection is called for, so be discerning and reveal no more than that is necessary. Let your logical mind take a rest as you start to perceive the energy of your environment. Let yourself be a mystery yet to be revealed. Okay, so this could very well be a year where you spend a lot of time with yourself by choice, where you go inwards more. And you might be surrounded by a lot of people, actually, with this Two of Pentacles, which often talks about struggling to juggle, everything that's on your plate. but managing to somehow. You might find that you retreat into yourself and suddenly everyone's interested in you. Suddenly everyone wants to know what's going on with you. What's Pile 1 up to? Like, what are they doing? Why have they not spoken in a long time? And so a lot of your personal growth journey might be colored by a lot of people also wanting your attention, also wanting your time, wanting to be in your space and, you know, bask in your energy. So that's definitely something to keep in mind, Pile 1. So yeah, just as a general overview, it seems like you're gaining a lot of emotional maturity. You're becoming really firm with your boundaries, especially in relationships. You're learning to go off the beaten path in your career, taking inspiration from this new thing that seems to be calling you. Although you may not make the pivot quite yet, you will work on gaining confidence because I'm telling you to. And then finally, you're also going to find exactly what you need in order to grow and evolve as a person. All right. So next, let's take a look at some archetype cards, and I just kind of shuffle them and let them fall out as many as would. And I'm just going to use these to kind of look at what energies or what kinds of people, places, things might be significant to your journey in 2026. And we will read some of these from the book. And for you guys, I had 5 that just flew out. And I thought, you know, final video of the year, I'll just keep them all. And then I ended up keeping them all for all of the piles. So this is going to be long. We have the shaman. Did I not say some sort of like shamanic healing? That's wild. Oh, I just got chills. Okay, yeah, you might you might explore shamanism in this year, or you might find a shaman that works with you, that, you know, you suddenly feel like they're really able to help you in ways that no other spiritual leader, no other spiritual person has been able to help you. And that might be a significant part of your journey. We have the Judge. So this is really giving me justice card vibes. So if there is any situation where you felt your life so far has been unjust, it is definitely righting itself. Anything that's been taken from you that wasn't supposed to be might be returned to you. And also there's a lot of like black and white thinking, and then there's like a little gray area here. So you might find that things that used to be a gray area for you in the past are becoming a lot more clear this year. So for instance, let's look at relationships, right? Say you're someone who in the past accepted situationships which didn't really serve you, didn't really respect your time or energy. In the past, you may have been like, yeah, but at least I'm not alone. And now you're putting your foot down and saying, absolutely not. This is what I expect. And if someone cannot match up to that, they don't have any room in my life, right? So it's like, it's finding clarity in things that previously might have been quite muddy. Oh, next we have the Dead End. Okay, so I will read this one from the book, but dead ends are generally, again, it's giving a lot of like 10 of Swords energy, of recognizing when something is no longer serving you and then actively working to get it out of your life, right? Because once you hit a dead end, there is nothing more you can do. There's nothing more you can expect. And in many ways, a dead end, you know, we might think that that's a bad sign. However, they really do make it very, very, very clear when something is not going to work out. So you don't waste any more of your time and energy going in the same direction, right? dead ends bring clarity. There's a lot of clarity coming, and it could be from this spiritual upheaval. Well, not upheaval, but journey, I guess. Well, the reason I said upheaval is it kind of feels like your entire sense of spirituality, your entire understanding of it might go through a big transformation in 2026. Like, I'm really getting like very strong death vibes, in the sense of that massive transformation. Things that you didn't even know about yourself coming to the surface. So yeah, in many ways, it could be a massive upheaval of your entire system of beliefs, right? So, good luck. No, I'm just kidding. It's a good thing. Then we have Apocalypsis. I will read this one from the book. But this, again, I think talks about endings and rebirth and, the apocalypse sort of forcing change, forcing renewal on this planet, right? So things, again, that used to work in the past just don't anymore, but we will read that one from the book. And finally, the riddle. So this, oh, wow, okay. This one is all about perspective, I think. I don't quite remember. There's so many cards in this deck. But I do think this is about not really knowing the answer until you look at the question from a different perspective, right? So it really feels like this year, 2026, for you guys is a time of really re-examining what you believe, looking at things that may have served you in the past, but you're not even that version of yourself anymore. And so now reconsidering what you've surrounded yourself by and sort of getting rid of things that don't need to be there anymore and inviting new things in that could fill that gap. Okay, so let's first read the riddle from the book. So that is card 53. The riddle, the puzzle, the question, the mystery. When the riddle is present, one must stop searching for the right answer. It cannot be found and ultimately is not important. Rather, there must be a shift from the literal to the metaphorical, from logic to mythic. You are thinking too small and literally about the situation. The riddle card appears when the energy is deep and mysterious, like the elusive wisdom in a Zen koan. Focusing harder won't do it, neither will increased effort. So a great awakening or aha moment. You might have one of those then. And apocalypsis, removing the veil of deception. Apocalypsis indicates a particularly painful time, one that unfolds when two disparate dynamics occur simultaneously, pulling the psyche in seemingly opposite directions. The first is a lifting of the veil. This means truths that have been kept in the dark are revealed, seen, and unearthed. The old narrative breaks and a new story forms. Apocalypsis energy is similar to a forest fire's devastation for the sake of regeneration. Right. So it really does feel like there is massive, massive transformation coming. And it may not always be the happiest. It may not always be the most sunshine and rainbowy change. But Power One, it is important to the person you want to be and the person you're about to be. Alrighty, so finally, let's take a look at a goal that you should be focusing on in 2026. And we have a Pleiades, double mission, channeling and uplifting humanity. Is this the right one? It is. This is not the Starseed Oracle, and yet we have a Starseed card. That's interesting. Double mission, channeling and uplifting humanity. I'm going to read that from the book as well. This is the last card, I promise. Oh, right. This is the one where it's not alphabetical, so then... yeah, I prefer my guidebooks alphabetical. Pleiades, The Pleiadians are a group of star beings dedicated to raising the vibration of the planet and sharing new consciousness through creations and technology. They have been incarnating on Earth since near the beginning of humanity. You are a soul who has a double mission: to grow at soul level and to raise the vibration of the planet. If you've been called to write, speak, or channel, this is your sign to keep doing it. Your presence and unique light is needed. So one of the spiritual gifts that you might embrace is channeling messages for people the way I'm doing right now. So that could be something that you discover in this year. But primarily your goal is to focus on your own evolution as an individual, because in doing so, you will be uplifting all of humanity. All right. So that is your reading for today, Pile 1. Wow, thank you so much for being here, and I truly hope it helped and resonated for you. If it did, please remember to like and subscribe. You can leave me a holiday tip in the description below. And yeah, thank you so much for being here and letting me do this reading for you and sharing your time and energy with me. I truly hope it's helped. And of course, I hope you have the most wonderful holiday season and the most wonderful start to the brand new year. Let me know in the comments below how this resonated. Stick around to the outro for another reading on my channel. Happy New Year, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye. Pile number 2, hello. So welcome to your reading all about your 2026 prediction. All right, so I'm not going to explain the layout. I did it in the intro because it would take ages if I did it for every single pile. So if you missed that, go back to the intro and it will tell you what we're doing today. Let's just dive right in. We're going to start with an energy check, and we're going to take a look at what your 2025 so far has been like. And if that resonates, then you've obviously picked the right pile. And I should mention my throat is but anyway, we have the Wheel of Fortune, and that's clarified by the 9 of Cups in reverse. Okay, and the other piles got one of these, but you guys got 2, but I thought, it's the final reading, let's just do both. We have You're Not Alone, Isolation, Physical Connection, Community. And the Golden Children, Inner Child, Tenderness, Innocence, Rare Gifts. Okay. Pile 2. With this Wheel of Fortune and 9 of Cups, this year you've definitely felt like you've been lucky in many, many ways. Like, things have worked out in your favor in so many ways. However, that hasn't necessarily made you super happy, probably because you weren't able to control when and how it happened. So, say for instance, you've been waiting on an exam result, right? And you're hoping to just simply, get a passing grade and get on with your life. You may find out that you actually did super, super well. However, getting to the exam hall might have been a nightmare. Finding the time to study might have been a nightmare. It took ages to get to your school to get the results back or whatever. Like a million little things that you couldn't control that went completely wrong, but somehow the end result was great, and you're like, okay, I mean, I'm glad that it ended well, but why did it have to be that dramatic on the way there? So that might have been an ongoing energy of like nice things happening, but they're not happening the way that you'd expected them to. And so you've had to rearrange your plans a lot. Another energy you may have felt this year is one of loneliness, especially if you've also been surrounded by a whole bunch of people. And you may have recognized that that comes from an inner child wound. And so that may be something you've worked on this year. So if those energies resonate, I'm just going to put these here. You probably won't see it on the frame, but that's okay. We know it's there. If that energy sort of resonates, welcome. Let's dive into 2026, and we'll start by taking a look at a general overview prediction for the year, a general theme, right? We have the 8 of Wands. Okay, beautiful. I love the artwork. Clarified by the Tower. Okay. And we have the Hanged One, which is the Hanged Man. Clarified by the Page of Cups. Okay. How to 2026 is going to be a sort of explanation for 2025. Okay, hear me out. So the 8 of Wands is super fast movement. The Tower is something that you've built coming crashing down. Okay, and with these two cards here, it kind of feels like the reason things were so difficult this year was because you were building up to something that you're really not meant to build up to. So it could be that you're following a career path that you're expected to follow, or that you've always told yourself you wanted to follow, but really it was someone else's dream that you adopted as your own, and now you feel like you owe it to them to follow it. It's like a lot of people-pleasing energy. And so even though, like, the universe is never going to deny you something you claim you want, however, it cannot find the path of least resistance if you're not happy, right? So yes, you're getting the results you wanted, but to get there is making you very unhappy because perhaps that's not what you really want. Okay? And so with this 8 of Wands and the Tower, like very quickly, very early in the year, you might find that your whole life changes. And everything you thought you wanted, it's like overnight you recognize, oh, this is not the life I want. This is not making me happy. None of this is making me happy. And that invites this Hanged Man energy, which is all about a new perspective. It is about forcing yourself to see things differently. The Hanged Man traditionally looks like he's been punished, right? It comes just after the Justice card, which is number 11. Number 12 is the Hanged Man. And it looks like he's been forced by someone else, by the legal system or whatever, to hang upside down. But the truth is he's put himself in that position in order to force himself to see things from a different perspective. So having that be clarified by the Page of Cups. Now, this is a beautiful energy, especially in this card. I'm happy it came out in this card because generally the Page of Cups is someone who is starting off on their journey of emotional maturity or emotional expression or what have you. Like whatever you see the Suit of Cups as, right? The Page is someone who is the apprentice in this deck. So it's someone who is starting to learn about feelings. And so you might find that up until now, you kind of lived your life on autopilot a lot, right? Trying to please everyone who had expectations of you. And in 2026, something is shifting. Something dramatically changes that brings you to this point where you're like, hang on, none of this makes sense. If I look at it from a perspective of, does this make me happy? Everything is upside down now, right? And the reason I said I love this card in this deck particularly is because in the artwork, you see this red string, and that's supposed to be the string of fate. And obviously, you know, it could mean, you know, soulmate energy of like people being tied by the same red string or whatever. But in this context, it's kind of giving me the sense of you finally recognizing what you are fated to do or to be in this lifetime. You finally recognizing your true destiny as opposed to the end goal that you've almost like forced yourself to want. So really, 2026 is a year of massive, massive change. And it might be scary. Like, look at all these eyes on this card. It's like there's so many eyes on you. You might feel quite intimidated by, you know, what will people think if I just make like a massive change in my life out of nowhere at this stage, once, you know, having already invested so much time and energy and whatnot. But there will be that voice inside your heart. You know, in Disney movies, like the animated ones, if a character is not following their heart, they have that moment of realization and they're like, oh, and then suddenly everything softens. It's making me think of Encanto. I don't know if you guys have watched that movie. It's beautiful. It's my favorite movie in the world. But towards the end, there's a moment where the grandma has like an epiphany about, you know, how she's acted. And from that point forward, suddenly life gets so much easier. So it's like you're having this moment of massive transformation, massive change, lots of fears coming up, obviously. And then suddenly you find that life is so much easier. Suddenly everything softens. Suddenly you're happy. And you're finally doing what you want to do. You're finally able to even, you know, hear your inner voice. You're able to use your emotions as a compass to guide you towards where your happiness lies. And that is such powerful, powerful energy, Paltu. Okay, so clearly this is a year of transformation for you, but let's dive into some specifics though, because that was just the general overview. Let's start by looking at your love life in 2026. The Eight of Pentacles, okay. And that's clarified by the Star in reverse. And your animal spirit card for your love life is the Elephant Spirit in reverse. Learn from the past. This year, you are really putting in the work when it comes to relationships, Paltu. However, you could also be sort of losing optimism a little bit, purely because you're becoming more realistic about what relationships are, how much work they actually take. It's like you're going from these fanciful ideas of, you know, oh, someone's just going to come and whisk me away and rescue me from this life and I'm going to be so happy. You're becoming more grounded. You're becoming more realistic about what you want out of relationships, or, you know, what, if you're in a relationship, what they are actually like. And it's like, because the Eight of Pentacles about is about working so hard, is about putting in the hours, doing whatever it takes to get the job done, right? And so it almost feels like you're seeing your love life through an overtly practical lens, where you're like, okay, what's the formula for a successful relationship? Because that's what I want to make happen, right? And you might find that, it could also be that you find the kind of partner who thinks of it exactly like that and is willing to put the work in, right? Because in the Eight of Pentacles, it's generally just one person slaving away. But do you see how both these beavers are set on the same mission? You could find that if you're not already in a relationship, you could find that person who is willing to split the load of, making a relationship work. Whereas in the past, you may have been the only person who did all the work to keep a relationship going. This year, you're finding people, in fact, every relationship, not just the romantic kind, you're finding people who will carry their weight in a relationship. With the star in reverse, the star upright can sometimes be quite wishful thinking-y energy. So it's like, it's not necessarily grounded imagination, right? It is someone who thinks of all the possibilities. Like, there's so many things that could happen. And sometimes that can get a little out there, a little impractical, unrealistic. So you're certainly not in an unrealistic energy. If anything, your understanding of love may have grown quite drastically this year. It may have transformed quite drastically in 2025. And so in 2026, you're really able to apply everything that you've learned in a practical way. But let's read this Elephant Spirit in reverse from the book. So this is card 25. Okay, Elephant Spirit. Are you feeling uncomfortable with a tradition, custom, or familiar behavior that no longer fits who you are? Do you wish the past could be erased so it could no longer cause you a moment's pain? Elephant Spirit is here to encourage you to write a different story and alter the traditions in ways that acknowledge that we all evolve, for transformation is our nature. Okay, so this year, in 2026, in the new year rather, you are not in denial about anything. You're taking a very practical approach, a very realistic perspective, right? It's like you're looking at your relationships through the lens of just no emotional attachment. Everything you do, every move you make, every time you look back at your past in love, you're really sort of recognizing areas where, there was toxic behavior, either by other people or by yourself. It doesn't matter. You're being brutally honest with yourself in order to make sure that you don't repeat the same mistakes, right? And that puts you in a very powerful position when it comes to love in 2026, Pal 2, because you're not falling for the fantasy anymore. You're not falling for the romance of it all anymore. Now you're like, this is a table. What are we bringing to it? Because I don't have time to mess around, right? So when it comes to your love life, you're on it. It's like business. It's like doing business for you, right? You're not messing around. So speaking of business, let's look at your career. We have the Empress in reverse. And that's clarified by the King of Pentacles, also in reverse. And your animal spirit is the frog spirit, clear out the clutter. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So, with the Empress and the King of Pentacles both in reverse, like normally you don't really want to see them in reverse when it comes to the career aspect of your reading. However, just like with relationships, because of this frog spirit card here, I'm sort of getting the feeling that you're really cutting out anything that is not making you money anymore. It's like these old processes, these ideas, these ways of doing things that are no longer efficient, that are no longer making profit for you, out. Just like, it's not like you're not messing around. This is the year you're cutting things out that do not serve you, Pile 2. You just don't have the time. You don't have the space for clutter in your life anymore. And that's wonderful. The other thing, with the Empress in reverse, in this particular deck, I do remember the message talking about embracing your wildness, embracing your feral self, the part of you that is natural and not restricted by social expectations. So with that being here, it's like you're becoming more intuitive in your career, Pile 2. You're starting to rely more on your inner guidance rather than processes and how things should be done and what's profitable and all of that. Also, guys, if there's lots of cuts in this, I've been coughing like a crazy person, so that's why there's edits. So I'm trying to edit out all the coughing. But anyway, the point is you're embracing only those business practices that really resonate with your soul. And if, you work for someone else, you might find that some aspects of your job don't quite match up to who you are, like morally or in terms of like the principles. And you might either find a workaround or you might just pass it along to someone else, right? So yeah, there's a lot of like, what's that word? Defragmentation. When your computer has like a lot of files scattered all over the place and you run a disk defragmentation. I don't think we do that anymore. We used to. And it kind of just like reorganizes things and clears out the temp files and the clutter and creates a lot more space on your computer. I kind of feel like you're doing that, but for your job. Like you're decluttering anything that no longer serves you. It's just taking up space. You're reorganizing processes to be saving time and money and effort and energy. And next thing you know, you're a well-oiled machine that has the luxury to follow their spirit rather than being stuck in red tape that just wastes everyone's time. It's very powerful. So finally, let's take a look at your growth as an individual, your personal and spiritual development in this year. We have the 5 of Cups in reverse. That's clarified by the Knight of Pentacles. Okay. And your animal spirit card is the Cow spirit in reverse. The miracles are endless. This year you are starting to refocus on gratitude, Pile 2. You're really shifting from what have you lost to what you still have. you're shifting your perspective entirely. You're shifting your field of view entirely. And you're now able to just really focus in on seeing the good in the world. Yeah, this year you're cutting out a lot of stuff that no longer serves you. And that includes beliefs. That includes ideas, ways of seeing the world that no longer serve the version of yourself you want to be. Like, this feels like a very Capricorn-y year for you, where it's like, you're not messing around, you don't have time for any nonsense, you're just here to grow and evolve, and that's that. And with the Knight of Pentacles here, you don't care how long it takes for your goals to come into fruition, right? Because the Knight of Pentacles is someone who won't jump into anything. They won't take any steps forward unless they know exactly how things are going to pan out. So that energy to me says, when it comes to your personal development, you're not in a rush to break like 20 generations of toxic cycles all at once in 1 year. You're willing to put in the work, be patient, and understand everything that you need to understand in order to heal properly, in order to grow gradually into the person that you want to be. And with this cow spirit in reverse, the miracles are endless. You are also learning to look for the miracles. It's like you may have forgotten in the past that we live in a wonderful world, that you are surrounded by beautiful things that are magical. This year, you're coming back to that. You might really embrace a practice of writing things you're grateful for. You might get into a practice of carrying like one of those little gratitude rocks that every time you touch it, you think of something that you're grateful for. Whatever it is, you're really counting your blessings this year, and that's bringing you a lot of growth, a lot of evolution in 2026. So very simply, you're just seeing the good in the world in 2026. You're seeing the world through a happier lens, and that's what helps you evolve and grow this year. So now, with these archetype cards, I just kind of wanted to pull as many as would fall out and see the kind of people, places, things that would be significant to you in 2026. So we have the stone. This one is about like digging deep. When you break a stone apart, you might find a magical crystal inside. So it generally talks about finding hidden value, finding hidden gems in yourself, in your world. And I really think it goes back to this energy with the Five of Cups in reverse, about like finding the beauty in your life. And that way you're really able to kind of shift your focus to what really matters, which is the happy lens, right? Next we have Eros, okay. So this is all about sacred sexuality, about, self-love, about appreciating your beauty, about, the physical body, really grounding into sensation. So, this year, a big theme for you guys might be getting comfortable with your body, getting comfortable with being a human being, really, with the physical world. It's giving very Taurus energy. You might take real joy in food, in clothing. You only want to wear a specific kind of clothing. You might find that there's certain, physical experiences that you really enjoy, the kind that get adrenaline, like roller coasters, haunted houses, stuff like that. Stuff that really forces you into the present moment. That might be the kind of experiences that really thrill you this year. Then we have the Mystic. So, this year you might run into someone who is quite otherworldly, and they might leave a massive, massive impact on your psyche this year, so this could be someone who is very ethereal, very otherworldly. Maybe they sort of live with one foot in a different dimension. I don't know if that's a saying, but just someone who's really sort of clued in, right? Clued in on the esoteric. And they might be the one who causes this shift in perspective for you. This could also be an energy you embody by the end of the year, where you're really clued in, where you're really ethereal and stepping into spirituality, right? And then we have the Siren. So, the Siren and Eros are kind of giving me a similar vibe, okay? So the Siren is all about a call that you cannot ignore, right? And this could be a literal person who's so attractive you literally cannot ignore them. It could also be a calling from your soul where there is a big change, and that goes back to this energy at the beginning where you feel like you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, but then there's a gnawing feeling, a nagging inside your soul. That could be that voice of that siren. And you could also run into someone who might kind of convinces you, who kind of convinces you to switch tacks and kind of shows you exactly how. Maybe they don't even teach you or anything. They just live the life that you want to live. And then suddenly you're like, oh, that's what I'm meant to be doing. Like, they're not even here trying to change your mind about anything. They're just living their life. And you see that and you're like, whoa, a light bulb goes off. That's that siren call, right? So, yeah. And also, like, I don't know if you guys see it, but this imagery is kind of similar. The siren and the mystic. How fascinating. There could be like a link between these two somehow. Maybe what you are being called to do is explore spiritual gifts some more. And maybe that's your true calling. But very interesting, very deep, like mysterious energies around you in 2026. So finally, let's take a look at this card, which is going to tell us what your goals should be, what your main focus should be for all of the year. We have Council of Light, divine orchestration, helpers in the subtle realms. Sorry, I just really wanted to look closer at the card. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 massive stars in this. I don't know, it just felt relevant. But I will read this one from the book. Hang on. Council of Light. This is page 94. Okay. The Council of Light is a team of benevolent beings who are here to assist the raising of consciousness of the planet. They are here to help you achieve your soul mission and are guiding you every step of the way. However, because we live in a world where free will reigns, they cannot help you without your permission. If you would like their assistance, it is time to ask them. Pray to them for clarity and guidance regarding your personal mission. Put in your requests and let them get to work. So this year, I think your big goal, Pile 2, is to really connect with your spirit guides, with your soul family, with the spirits in the other dimensions that can really help you figure out who you want to be and where you want to lead your life. And so every step of the way, no matter what part of your journey you're in this year, you're very much being called to ask for help, but not from people, from your spirit guides, right? From helpers in the subtle realms. So, very interesting. This feels like a very spiritual, evolution-y type of year for you, Pile 2. So, that was your reading. I hope it helped. I hope it resonated. If it did, please remember to like and subscribe. Comment below how this resonates for you. If you'd like to leave me a little New Year's gift, you can check out my PayPal tip jar. The link is in the video description. But apart from that, you can always share this video, subscribe to my channel. That helps a lot as well. But yeah, thank you so much for being here and spending your time and energy with me and letting me do this reading for you. I truly, truly hope it helped, Pearl 2. And I wish you the best moving forward. Happy New Year. I hope you have the most wonderful transition into the new year. And yeah, thank you so much for being here and for watching and letting me do this reading for you. I hope it helped. You can stick around to the outro for another reading on my channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye. Hey Pile 3, welcome. So, today we're talking all about 2026. And I should warn you, I've been coughing a lot. So if there's a lot of cuts in the video, that's why. But I've gone ahead and explained in the intro just how this reading is going to work, so we're not going to waste any time and just dive right in. So let's start with an energy check about what you may have experienced this year in 2025, and that way you can make sure you've picked the right pile for you. So to start, we have the Two of Swords, and that is clarified by the Hierophant. And your oracle card is Starbathing, Light Body, Crystal Grid, Transmission, Activation. Okay. Pile 3, this is the year that you chose between following the norms versus following your soul's mission, following an activation inside of you. So this could very well be something to do with choosing a career path, or choosing between staying in a system versus going out and doing your own thing, choosing between, I don't know, following tradition versus, I don't know, being alternative. Whatever it is, it's like you were faced with a choice between embracing the status quo or creating impactful, important change that you felt deeply called to make. And this is not a choice you can make by weighing the pros and cons. This is a choice you had to make intuitively. So, very interesting energy already. But I feel like, really, to you, it was a no-brainer, this choice, because you might be extremely spiritual yourself, and You may have known deep down that it was inevitable that you would have to make this choice. And I don't think you feel any sort of regret or anything for the choice you made because you knew that that is exactly what you need to do in order to be who you are, to be true to yourself. So if that's resonating, let's dive into a general overview of what 2026 is going to look like for you moving forward. To start, we have Judgment. And that's clarified by the Queen of Cups in reverse. And then we have the Nine of Wands in reverse. And that's clarified by the World, also in reverse. Lots of reversals. All right, so Judgment with the Queen of Cups in reverse. In 2026, there is going to be the Epiphany. Okay, I get what it is. It feels like whatever choice you made this year was you being way ahead of the curve. And in 2026, everyone is going to recognize that that was the right thing to do. Now, this could be something as simple as, or something as, small scale and personal as leaving a relationship, and then next year, people recognize why you would have done that. It can be something as large scale as taking a political stance, and then next year, suddenly everyone's taking that stance because everyone finally sees what you've been seeing for so long. In either case, it feels like your view is being validated in the new year. And everyone is sort of spilling. It's like there's been like a harmful secret that's been kept for so long. And it's all coming out into the open next year. It's like you knew the whole time that, you knew what was going on the whole time, and you've probably been very vocal about it as well. And then finally ended up just taking a stand. And then in the new year, people are like, whoa, actually, Pile 3 was right the whole time. With the Nine of Wands in reverse and the World in reverse, this might bring a lot of weight on your shoulders, but you are also recognizing that not only are you capable of carrying this weight, of leading the charge when it comes to bringing this change, you are also the only person who can do it. And you are the only person who can end this cycle for good. Pile 3, I don't know what this is, but it feels like societal levels of change. It feels, this doesn't just feel like one person's burden. It feels like you're transforming all of society single-handedly. Who are you, Pile 3? Who are you? What sort of work do you do? Because this is like revolutionary energy. It's like you're bringing out the honest truth about something. And you always knew it was true, but there's finally evidence backing you up in 2026. So as a result, it's like everyone looks to you as the authority on the subject because you've harped on about it for probably years. When everyone's finally seeing it, they're like, oh, Pile 3, can you show us how to go about it? And you're like, well, this whole time that I've been talking to you about this and no one wanted to listen, and suddenly everyone wants my expertise. Yeah, it does feel like you're finally getting the validation you deserve. But it's like, it's not over, because the Judgment card comes just before the World, and the World is the final of the major arcana. It's the end of the cycle. We have the Judgment card upright, but the World is in reverse. So that to me says, like, this is not the year that this ends per se. This is the year it transforms, but a new cycle probably won't begin this year. This is the year you tie up all your loose ends, pile 3, with whatever this situation is. This is the year where you kind of rush towards the finish line. It's like the final sprint, if that makes sense. That was just a general overview though, so let's now get into specifics. Let's start with your love life in 2026. The 9 of Cups. Okay, beautiful. Love that puppy. And that's clarified by the Magician in a reverse. And your animal spirit card is the Snake Spirit in reverse. Time to heal. The 9 of Cups and the Magician in reverse. The 9 of Cups is the energy of finding happiness, all your wishes coming true, everything you've asked for, you're receiving. The Magician is the energy of making things come true for you, bringing things into existence. The Magician is proficient in all of the elements, and this is the energy of the alchemist. It's taking what you already know and transmuting it into what you want, right? So to have that in reverse, clarifying the 9 of Cups, is giving me the sense of all the things you want, all the things you ask for, are coming to you in love. You don't have to make them happen though. It's like whatever you ask for in your relationships, it just happens. It just magically happens for you, pile 3. With the Snake Spirit in reverse, time to heal though, I do want to read that from the book. Let's see. So that's number 55. No matter how much you may have lost or how you've been disappointed, you are called by Snake Spirit to shed the past and practice a radical self-acceptance now. Only by forgiving yourself can you move on, regardless of whether anyone else is ready for healing. Snake Spirit reminds you that hearts can be so easily wounded. Apologies and amends go a long way. Self-forgiveness for your role in what happened can help you heal. Okay, so a lot of this happiness may simply come from forgiveness, from practicing letting go, particularly when it comes to yourself. And yeah, when you do that, when you let go of a grudge you've been holding against yourself, pile 3, you might find that suddenly the universe responds. Suddenly everything is falling into place. And suddenly you don't have to force people to stay in your life, because the people who come in aren't coming in begrudgingly. You attract the energy you put out into the world, right? So if you hold a grudge against yourself and you go out looking for a partner, that partner is going to hold a grudge against you. And so things are going to be difficult, right? So when you let go of that, when you forgive yourself, when you heal your relationship with yourself, suddenly all the relationships that come your way are healed and are healing. right? They will heal you. So when it comes to love in 2026, really the gist of it is learning to let go of any animosity you may have held for yourself. And in doing so, you're letting go of the need to control how relationships go for you. And that's how that ease of manifestation, the ease of love, the ease of joy comes into your life. Okay, next, let's look at your career in 2026. We have the moon, clarified by the 10 of Pentacles. Love that. And your spirit animal is the swan spirit. Time for a deep dive. Okay. When it comes to work, pile 3, you're not even going to know how, but you're going to make a lot of money. You're not going to recognize how this comes about. You may not see it coming, but it will. And out of nowhere, suddenly you'll be like, whoa, how did I make that much money this year? Right? But with the swan spirit, time for a deep dive. This could be the year where you really commit to maybe skills training, maybe doing a better job at what you do, maybe learning how to do things better, leveling up your skills, looking into the history of your company or how things have been done in your industry. It's this deep dive card is really giving me a sense of going back to school. I mean, you may literally go back to school, but I mean more in the sense of going back to basics and embracing a beginner's mind again. And maybe because you're so focused on that, you don't even recognize how that has improved the quality of your work and thereby improved your output and thereby your money, right? There's definitely a massive level up in your intellect, in the quality of work that you're doing. And it's like for a lot of it, you're not even paying attention. With this moon card, the moon card is all about, hidden stuff, things that you can't see clearly because at night you're walking by moonlight, and even when the moon is full, it's not that bright, right? And so things are still hidden in the shadows, things look scary. You don't really know what's lurking around the corner. You don't know what to expect. And when it comes to career, it might feel a little bit like that. Maybe because you're so preoccupied with whatever this situation still is. But you will find so much happiness. 10 of Pentacles is the house, the family, the money, what's it called? Not a legend. The legacy, that's the word. Legacy. It's like you're finding the end game. You're finding that you're living in the end game that you've always dreamed of. But you have no idea how you even got there. It's like overnight, you became a success. Powerful stuff. This is an interesting year for you, Palfrey. And then finally, let's take a look at your personal growth, your spiritual development this year. The sun. I love that for you. Beautiful. Optimism, joy, abundance, excitement. And the Seven of Swords in reverse. Something is coming to light that maybe you didn't even know existed. Right? Okay. Yeah. Okay, well, let's just flip out the last card as well. Buffalo Spirit, the abundant universe will provide. Maybe this is tied into your money as well this year. Interesting. But anyway, whatever this situation was, with the Seven of Swords in reverse, like, it's not going to stay hidden for much longer, obviously. Especially clarifying the sun, which the sun brings the light, like, as opposed to the moon. The sun will shine a light on everything equally. It doesn't care if you're a unicorn or a little hedgehog. It will shine the light on you regardless. I think that's a porcupine, actually. Never mind. But it will shine the light on a porcupine as well. The sun is knowledge, enlightenment, optimism, happiness, abundance, all the good stuff that we associate with summertime and excitement, right? So when it comes to your spiritual growth this year in 2026, there is a bounty. There is abundance for you in so many different ways. And I also feel like you're going to uncover truths about yourself that will just add to this. You're going to uncover layers of like beautiful, magical, mystical things that you'd been carrying inside you that you didn't even know you had. You're uncovering abilities that you didn't know you had. And with this Buffalo Spirit, the abundant universe will provide. The universe is matching you every step of the way, right? The universe is like, okay, you're stepping up to the plate, I will join you. You're putting in 10, I'll put in 100. Right? Because you're in that energy of being so attractive, of being so bright and beautiful and powerful that people can't help but try and match up, try and step up and do better. It's like by improving yourself, you're improving the collective. That is so powerful. And the reason I said that that could be related to this career stuff is the sun brings illumination, right? It brings understanding. And so you may not recognize how this abundance comes in your career, but it may even have nothing to do with your career. It may have everything to do with a shift in your mindset. You may attract abundance without even changing anything about how you work. It's simply by shifting your energy, because like attracts like. And so you won't even recognize this as a product of the actual work you do, but you will recognize it as the universe rewarding your growth and expansion as a soul for the collective. So next, I actually shuffled out as many of these guys that wanted to come out. These are the archetype cards, but I kind of want to use them to see the significant energies, people, places, things that might really have a massive impact on your life in 2026. So to start, we have the Forest. So there might be something happening literally in a forest that has to do with you, that has to do with your year. We will read that from the book, don't worry. We have the Poet. Immediately I had poetic justice. But the Poet is generally about like transmuting feelings into words, transmuting the abstract into something that everyone can understand, right? It is that depth of feeling. And again, that takes me to the swan spirit. Time for a deep dive. There is something poetic about 2026 for you. But it could also be that there is like someone who is a literal poet who has like an important role in your year. We have the ocean. Lots of places for you. And also lots of water imagery. Do you work in like conservation of some sort, Pal 3? Have you uncovered something? Let me know the tea. But the ocean is all about the depths, the mystery, the swallowing you whole, the vastness, the unending vastness, and, fear because it's so grand and it could kill you, but also admiring its majesty. We have the flame. Beautiful. And this is something that kicks off, it's the energy that kicks off a process, right? The flame is something that both purifies but also destroys. And so you might find that you feel especially passionate about things this year. You have like an extra added fire for some reason. And maybe you get into candle magic. I don't know. Flames also makes me think of romantic, like love interests. So maybe there's a lot of flings you go through this year, which, hey, more power to you. And we have the animal. There is a lot of nature going on. Do you work in conservation, Palfrey? The animal. There could be a significant spirit animal coming your way. Yeah, you might get a pet. You might work with animals this year. But between that, the ocean, and the forest, I'm really getting like a strong conservation vibe. But let's read... where is it? There you are. Let's read the forest. The woods, the thicket, the jungle. Consider for a moment your earliest memory of the forest. It's likely it included all the mythic dynamics of this archetypal space. A little fear, a little enchantment, perhaps losing your way, perhaps discovering a secret mystical treasure. Such is the magic of the forest. You're on an adventure now, and there's no turning back, so embrace the dim light and the moving shadows. Magic abounds, childlike wonder, adventure. Yeah, whatever this situation is, it may have kicked off a whole new journey for you, Palfrey. It may have kicked off like a whole new avenue that you didn't even see your life going that way. It may have caused like a massive pivot for you. But whatever it is, it's like, this is where you were meant to be. This is the path you were meant to travel. So don't ever feel like you're making a mistake by letting go of your old self in order to chase whatever this is, because wherever you're going is exactly where you're meant to go. All right. And finally, let's take a look at your goal in 2026, something that you should keep in mind through every context of everything that happens this year. And we have the crumbling. What are you clinging on to? Oh, this is a powerful card. Okay, let's see. I'm going to read this from the book. Oh, and my book fell to the floor. Wow. Dramatic. Okay, the crumbling. This is page 40. I always like to call out the page numbers because they might mean something to you. The crumbling. There is a shift happening right now where anything inauthentic can no longer survive. Relationships, jobs, social structures, anything built on shaky ground is destined to tumble down. When you're in the thick of it, it can feel like a personal attack from the universe. Have faith, because the difficult times will be your defining moments. You will be reborn in the fire. You have what it takes to allow what is falling away to tumble and fall. Kali, the goddess of destruction, and the Black Madonna are with you now. Lay it all on their altar. They can hold it all. Work your light inquiry. What are you clinging onto for fear of nothing coming to take its place? Yeah. I think that also ties in with this abundant universe will provide. It's like, you're going through this in order to learn this. That, you don't have to hold on to things simply because you worry they will not be replaced by something better. And as you go through the year, you start to learn that actually when you create space in your life, the universe is able to give you much more than you ever thought possible. Okay, so that's your reading for today, part 3. I really hope it helped and it brought you some support and clarity. Let me know in the comments how this resonated for you, because what do you do, part 3? Who are you? This is like nothing I've ever channeled before. So let me know what's going on, because I'm so curious. Do you work in conservation? Let me know. But yeah, that's your reading for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please remember to like and subscribe. If you'd like to leave me a little holiday tip, there is a link to my PayPal tip jar in the video description. I super appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here and spending the time and energy with me and letting me do this reading for you. I truly hope it helped. I hope you have the most wonderful, wonderful new year and just holiday season in general. You can stick around to the outro for another reading on my channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.